What you guys, should you install Windows 11 on unsupported hardware? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. We all know that Windows 11 system requirements is quite strict, and a lot of PCs have now become obsolete for Windows 11 unless you use the bypass method. Now, some of the key requirements are TPM 2.0 and also an 8th gen processor for Intel and up, or a 2nd generation Ryzen processor and up to the modern day. So these are the seriously strict requirements. This means that a lot of hardware is just not supported, and a lot of people were quite angry that Microsoft were really implementing this system requirement into their operating system, because that means that a lot of the older generation hardware is just not going to be supported for Windows 11. Of course, this led to people installing Windows 11 on unsupported hardware to see whether it works and functions properly. And of course, it does. All of the updates and security updates function perfectly fine on that unsupported hardware when you're installing Windows 11 onto that unsupported hardware that Microsoft will put up right here. You can see the list of CPUs. I'll leave the link for the listed CPUs that are required for Windows 11. So where does that leave you? Should you install Windows 11 on your unsupported computer? Whether it will be a CPU that is causing the issue, or whether it will be some sort of TPM 2.0 issue. Well, if you look right here on the screen right now, if you're on an unsupported hardware, what they're going to do is they start pushing out the system requirements not met. Go to the settings to learn more. This is another little watermark that they're going to start pushing out on unsupported hardware to sort of shame you into getting a proper computer that will work with Windows 11. They've done this with the activation of Windows 11. Windows 11 and Windows 10 works perfectly fine without activating it. It does actually disable a couple of features on the operating system, but now they are implementing this system requirement message on here saying not met. And this means that basically this is all that's going to happen. Now, does this mean that Microsoft have eased off and they're not going to enforce the system requirements on people if you bypass it? All they're going to do is put this little message on here, because I think a lot of people are not really too bothered about having it on the screen. So is this the first step for them to actually stop security updates for unsupported hardware? Now, I'm not 100% sure whether they will completely block Windows updates for PCs that have got unsupported hardware in them. What I think they might do is they could stop automatic updates for your unsupported PC. This would then mean that you would have to physically go and download that latest version of Windows and install it over the top of the other version of Windows, which will of course remove all of the programs, and it will keep your data, but it will basically make you have to reinstall all your programs. This is something they possibly could do, which would inconvenience you a little bit, because it's like doing a fresh install of Windows every time a major feature update comes out for Windows 11. But it's probably unlikely that they're going to do anything, because time is ticking and Windows 10 is coming to an end, and there's rumors that Windows 12 is on the horizon. And we all know that once a new operating system comes out, Microsoft generally ditch their previous operating system and concentrate on the new one. So that means that Windows 11 could just then stay exactly as it is. And I'm not sure that they will be working on two operating systems at any one time, because they'll be then concentrating on making their next operating system. And I do think you're going to start seeing more releases of operating systems in a foreseeable future. So let's talk about some options. Now, if you're running Windows 10 Home or Windows 10 Pro, you're going to have up until October 14th, 2025. Again, if you're using a LTSC version, that means you'll get continued support for those versions, but these versions will end support on October 14th, 2025. They are not going to be releasing any more versions for Windows 10, so version 22H2 is going to be the last version you're going to get for Windows 10. And that is it. After October 14th, 2025, operating systems like these will be obsolete, and they will move on to the next one. Now, the Windows 10 enterprise versions like the LTSC have versions that will go right up to 2032. So these have got some longevity in them still. And there's a lot of people that are finding keys and installing these on their PC, and they want to continue to use these versions for the foreseeable future because they don't want to have to buy a new computer, or they just don't want to use Linux or anything like that. So what are your options? Is it worth doing this, or is it worth upgrading to, say, Windows 11 and using it as an unsupported computer? Well, that just depends on what Microsoft do. There is Linux versions available that you can use, but I don't think Linux is the answer for everyone. There's going to be a few people out there that are going to be able to adapt to Linux, people that are pretty tech savvy, and they pick this stuff up very quickly. But for the average user, I just don't think Linux is an option for a lot of Windows users. And for all those people that keep using the terminology of it stops PCs going in landfill, we've stopped putting PCs in landfill many, many years ago. So that's not the case. We'll ship them out to another country. So what are the options for Windows 11? Well, you could download Windows 11 and install it on your unsupported hardware and continue using Windows 11 for the foreseeable future because it's still got quite a long life cycle on Windows 11. And this is probably the best choice for you. It's still on Windows, and Windows 11 is not as bad as what people make out anymore. It has got a lot better. And again, it will be on unsupported hardware, which means there is going to be a risk there. But I don't see Microsoft closing the door on updates for the foreseeable future on unsupported hardware. If they was going to do it, I'm pretty sure they would have done it already. But I'm not a mind reader, so don't take my word for it. It's going to be a risk that you're going to have to take on your own. But you can see here on Microsoft's website, they've actually talked about bypassing it here. They don't recommend you do it, but they actually give you an option on how to do it right here on their own website. Now, why would they be giving you this information if they were going to think about closing the door on updates for unsupported hardware? I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have ever put this on their website if they were looking at blocking this in the foreseeable future. So if you've got a very old computer and you want to upgrade and continue to use that computer, then you've got nothing to lose. You can always install Windows 11, use their bypass method, which they've shown you on their own website, and see how it goes. Obviously, keep a backup of all your data, just in case something does change with Microsoft and they want to stop giving you updates and you then have to reinstall another operating system. But by all means, give it a go, or you can wait until October 14th, 2025 and then decide what you're going to do right then, because that is when end of life for Windows 10 comes, unless you extend that by using a enterprise version. Now, Windows 10 is still miles ahead of Windows 11 with users. You can see 71.11%. Windows 11 has 23.91% here. And again, some people are still using Windows 7, which is absolutely crazy. It's getting harder to find the software that actually works with Windows 7 now. Windows 8.1, again, end of life. Some people still using that. And Windows 8, and we've even got some people on Windows XP, believe it or not, that are still using that system. Now, I do think that Windows 10 percentage will drop down within the next year or so, or the next 18 months, and they will then transition over to Windows 11. I just think people are a bit slow on the uptake. It's the same with every operating system. I can remember when Windows 10 was hated by a lot of people, and now all of a sudden they think it's the best option rather than having Windows 11. Eventually, they will get used to Windows 11 and there'll be another operating system that comes out and they'll be moaning about that one as well. So it's just the way people are. We're a creature of habit. We like to stay with what we're used to, and people just don't like change. But with the way Microsoft is going with Windows, there's going to be new versions coming quite frequently. Anyway, I hope this video helps you out. So if you have got an old system, then you do have up until 2025, which is still quite a way away. And you've got the other options with LTSC, or you can go down the route of upgrading to Windows 11 on unsupported if you wish. Again, I don't think they're going to do anything with that. I think they'll just let that run and you'll be able to have that little message down there and you'll be able to use it on your old system. And you'll be able to save that system and continue to use it in the foreseeable future until you buy a new one. By then, I'm pretty sure your PC will be getting pretty old and you'll be looking to upgrade anyway. Anyway, my name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Hope this information has helped you out. Just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members. I really do appreciate the support. Whether you're tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3, I really do appreciate it. And I shall catch you in the very next video, or I'll see you on the Discord server for a chat. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.